Hi everyone, welcome back to No Sugar with Everything Krause. Back at it again.
Back at it again with the white vans.
Ouchie.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of No Sugar, No Sugarista, No Sugar Mama. I miss singing it. Oh,
I know, and we can't sing it when we're virtual because
I
it
know.
echoes off each other. But hello everyone, I'm officially back from vacay, and I don't even know if the last episode I said I was going on vacation.
Yeah, you did. We debriefed how, because remember I looked at you and I was like, "Are you stressed?"
I think I cut that out. Maybe I kept it in the end. I don't remember.
I don't remember at all.
Neither. It feels like a lifetime ago that we recorded it because we did kind of record it a while ago.
Yeah, we recorded it a week in advance.
Mm-hmm. So back from vacation, I was just in Costa Rica for 8 days, and now I'm home back in the freezing cold. Like, it is freezing cold.
Oh my God, it's nipply today.
Mhm.
It's
It
like,
was snowing when I was letting Zoe out.
yeah.
Yeah.
When I was walking back from the train, I actually could not feel my hands. I don't know, which is really crazy. I've noticed that you and mom have always your hands have always gotten really cold in the cold. That has never been the case for me. And all of a sudden this year, my hands literally get freezing or like they're
Mhm.
numb immediately. Like they cannot be in cold weather. I need gloves. It's non-negotiable.
And, like, when my hands get cold, the rest of my body gets cold because I think it's a thing when your feet or your hands are cold, it kind of, like, starts the
Yeah.
cold process. So that's why I hate walking without gloves. Even if it's not even that cold out, I'm like, I'd rather just
Yeah.
not risk it. But anyway, yeah, came home from very sunny, warm, unbelievable weather to freezing cold weather, and it was a shock for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely made me start rethinking whether I wanted to live in warm weather all year round or not.
I know. I know. For me, I feel like the only reason I do want warm weather year round is because we live in the suburbs of PA, not like I live in Cape May year round, like Xander staying down there, where I'm by an ocean and can like walk on the beach in the morning, even if it's cold.
Mhm.
Like that would make me okay with the cold temperature because I'm still by nature. But when I live in a PA suburb and I'm just experiencing this cold weather with nothing to do but be inside the home, I'm like, yeah, I'd rather just live in a place like Florida or
Yeah.
something.
When, like, Florida right now, it isn't like hot, but it's
Yeah.
definitely not cold. Like, you don't need to be bundled up in a giant parka with a
I
scarf
know.
around your face and a hat
You
on.
should I wish you guys would have seen Kateri and I this morning. It was actually hysterical.
It was cold, but yeah, so back from vacay, ready to like reset, kind of using it. I've said this, but like now using this as almost like my January 1st and ready to kind of just like grind. I'm going away in another month. I literally have exactly 1 month until my friend's bachelorette party. So I'm kind of just using this month as like a reset, detox mentally and physically, and just trying to hold myself accountable more so that when I go away from that trip, I can look back on like the rest of January and beginning of February as like a win for me,
Mhm.
and not so much of like I can't start my year and I can't work really hard because I have like all these things, and using it as an excuse, being like, oh, I have all these things going on. I can't diet or I can't work
Yeah.
on my goals because I only have a month. Like, it's still a full month. I still have 30 days.
Yeah, and a lot can happen in 30 days.
Mhm.
Like, it's crazy the mental and physical transformation you can have literally within a week. Like,
Mhm.
when I start implementing habits within 1 week, I'm always like, "Wow, this is a new way of living."
And no, literally, just like mentally, I need to get to not that I'm in a bad place, like, but I just,
No, yeah,
I ate on vacation, I drank, I indulged, like, I just experienced and I really didn't hold myself back, which was a great feeling. Like, I felt like I was in control, but I also just like let loose at the same time. So that felt really good. And now I'm like, okay, I had my fun. So now I'm really ready to like hold myself more accountable, and
yeah,
like I'm craving it more. It's not like, oh, it's a punishment. It's more of like, no, now I'm craving the discipline and the challenge of like, okay, no processed sugar, no processed carbs, kind of doing what we did before the wedding,
yeah,
essentially,
yeah,
of just like, let's challenge yourself to do something hard now because you were just doing something really fun and super easy for
mhm,
8 days, and even all throughout the holidays, right? Like,
yeah.
now I'm craving the discipline and like mental challenge aspect of it.
Well, that's why I'm happy that you did let yourself have fun on this vacay. Like, there's no need to be disciplined. Like, if you're on vacation, might as well enjoy it. And
Mhm.
I'm happy that you did that because now you can start as like, this is your Jan 1. which
No,
I just
exactly.
think was really a really good decision. I feel like it allowed you to have the best time you could over there.
Well, yeah, and it was even like, okay, like wake up. Oh, there's time to go on a walk. Let's go on a nice long walk. Oh, there was
Mhm.
time, like maybe we can go to the gym. Okay, yeah, lift a couple weights. Like it just made it more enjoyable to also be like more intuitive with it there. Like if
Yeah,
there wasn't time to go on a 5 mile walk, I wasn't going to go on a 5 mile walk. Like, okay, I got 2 miles in, 2.5 miles. Great, perfect. And
yeah.
I was like in the sun the whole time. So even just being there in the sun was the best feeling ever. Like
Oh,
it felt so amazing. It was
I'm
really,
so jealous. I
yeah.
literally miss the sun.
I know, I know. As soon
Like,
as we got home, it was freezing, and I was like, "Yo, get me back." Like, I do not honestly, I do not now I understand why Xander hates the cold so much, and I don't think I love this.
it's just it's not that it's miserable, it's that you have to work so much harder to not, like, be in a bad mood. Like, it's
Mhm.
really hard to, like, wake up all smiley when you look outside and it's, like, dreary out. Like, it's like,
No,
"Okay."
literally, and even just, like, walking the dogs, like, when it's warm out, I don't care. Even when it's, like, a little nippling, I'm like, "Okay, whatever, like, let me go
Yeah.
walk the dogs." Even that, like, little movement throughout the day, I don't wanna do any of it when it's cold,
Yeah, it
which is
makes you
why
dread it.
people struggle in the winter, like, it's totally understandable, but it was, like, a big shock to me, and I feel like it's, like, the coldest it's been all
It's freezing.
year
It's freezing.
now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like, wow, we really came home to the cold.
Mhm. Yeah, you came home
But
to, like, a wind squall too.
mhm,
But anyway.
literally. Anyway, since we started last episode with as well as devastating news, I did wanna share some devastating news that I have that happened on vacation.
Tell 'em, sis.
RIP to another Apple Watch.
Within 1 week of each other. Is this a
Like,
sign? Is this a sign for both of us? Like, oh my
I
gosh.
I think so. So one of the days on vacation, Tyler and I we went on this hike. So we like horseback rode and then we did this hike down to a waterfall and then back up. And then we got back on the horses and they brought us to like this waterfall, like water pool. I
Like
don't really
swim,
know what
yeah.
yeah, like just you jump off a rock and you jump in the water. So I normally would be taking my Apple Watch off when I go into a body of water. I know you like can have them on and you could put the water thing on, but normally I just like take them off. But I totally forgot, like wasn't thinking. Tyler's videoing me on his GoPro, so I'm like getting ready to jump off. And as soon as I hit the water, as I'm still underneath the water in my head, I'm like, that's funny. Where's my Apple Watch? And I would convince myself that I didn't jump in with it. And then we watched the GoPro video and I did indeed have it on jumping
Yeah.
off. So it must have just fallen off like the second I hit the water. And I honestly was having issues with the band that morning, like getting it to stay like in the hole, to
Mhm.
stay on.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yours is really RIP.
Yeah,
Like,
no,
mine was
it's
like
gone. It's gone.
yeah, Katiri's
Well,
is no
and
option.
no option. And because I convinced myself that I didn't have it on, like, when I was in the water for the next, like, 5-10 minutes, I wasn't looking for it to see if it, like, got washed down the stream because, like, I jumped in a very deep part, but obviously, like, there was rocks right there, so it could have gotten
Yeah.
caught in something. But I was like, "Oh, it must have fallen off, like, when I got off the horse or, like, when I took off my shirt, like, maybe my shirt ripped it off." So I just was convinced that I didn't have it, and it wasn't until I got out of the water and we watched the video that we noticed, and then, like, Tyler went back in to try and find it, and he, like, started diving down. I'm like, "Honestly, that scares me more. Like, I'd rather
Yeah.
just lose the watch than something happen to you because 'cause you're freaking trying to dive in a
Yeah.
I don't even know what we were in."
Yeah.
Like, literally, please
Yeah,
don't
like,
do that.
please come back to the surface.
Yeah, so it was just, like, not worth it, and at that point, there was, like, too many people there to, like, really be, like, looking. So that was kind of a bummer, but it could be worse. Everything could have been worse.
Mhm.
I had too much fun that day to have it be clouded by losing a material item like an
Yeah.
Apple Watch.
Like, literally a well. It's a
No,
watch. You'll get a new
literally.
one, you won't get a new one, who cares?
Mhm.
Money can buy it again, but money can't buy the day again, so I'm happy that you made that experience the best one possible and didn't let it ruin your day.
Exactly. That's, like, what my goal was. I was like, "Yeah, bummer, but I'm over it." And honestly, we've been talking about letting go of the Apple Watch, and I'm like, "Maybe that was God answering my
I
prayers."
know, wait, this has, like, been crazy, like, what's going on?
Mhm. Like, we literally said we wanna get rid of them, and the universe said, "Okay."
Literally. Well, you know what's funny right now is the reason I've been I'm still wearing my Apple Watch, everyone, even with it cracked. But as you can tell, if you are watching on YouTube right now, silver Aura ring came in.
Aura. Aura
Aura.
twins.
Do it again, Katir. Kateria is gold. I have silver. Check them out on YouTube. But
Like, comment, subscribe on YouTube.
what I wanted to say about my watch was, oh, I got a new phone and I never connected my phone to the watch. Like I never did the Bluetooth connection.
Mhm,
And I realized that this whole past week, I haven't been looking at my watch as much because it hasn't been dinging me. And I didn't hit me until like today, I think this
mhm,
morning or last night when I was reviewing my activity with you, Kateri. I was like, oh my God, my watch is never connected. And I just now realized that, like I wasn't getting notifications all week and I haven't been getting like like all those activity notifications because
mhm.
it wasn't connected and I like it. So I'm not connecting it
Yes,
because
someone
I'm still tracking my fitness, but I'm like, oh my God, like I haven't got notifications. It's been great. I
mhm,
like forgot to wear my watch one day. Like, I've never done that before.
yeah.
So
That is a good idea to keep notifications off. I think Virginia, the one time when I went over and saw Hannah in Virginia, Virginia said she did that. She was like, I just don't connect it to my phone so that it's literally only used as like a watch and for
mhm.
workouts, not as like constantly pinging with instant notifications and like instantly checking them.
Yeah.
And I think that is like the most negative part about having an Apple Watch is constantly looking at it and like, oh, you get an email, oh, you get a text, you immediately see it. It's hard
Yeah.
to ignore it. Like you get a buzz or a ping on your wrist. It's very hard to ignore that.
Yeah. Yeah. Especially because it like vibrates.
It's
That's
like,
why it's like
okay.
an instant like, and I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, okay, what was
No,
that?
literally like that night, the first night of not having my watch on, I had like phantom watch. Like I kept feeling like a buzz on my wrist and it wasn't even there. I'm like, that's
That's
weird. Like I
crazy.
kept like going to check my wrist. I was like, that's crazy. That's actually too much.
Yeah. See, everything happens for a reason.
Exactly.
Losing your watch is for the greater you. It
Yes.
was for you. It didn't happen to you, it happened for you.
Amen to that. But anyway, just wanted to share that news and let you guys know that I am mourning the loss.
Did we just ramble about that? Maybe. Sorry.
It's fine.
We had a lot
Our
to say. We had a lot
Yeah.
on our mind. Anyway. Anywho.
Anywho, let's get into today's episode, shall we?
Yes.
So, today we want to talk about just three simple wins that we feel are very important to have every single day that help you get to the next level or that can help you get to the next level and really have that like 1% improvement every single day. So, three daily wins, one spiritual win, one physical win, and one mental win. Categorizing those every single day, and if you can check off each one of those every day by the end of the week, I just feel like you're 7% better than you were the week before.
Mhm.
And over time, by the end of the year, you're 365% better than you were at the start.
Yeah.
Which, when you put it in terms of that, it's like, why wouldn't I try and reach for that?
Exactly. It's like, okay, like that's the perfect parameter to
Mhm.
set. And it's funny that you say that because I do think it's such a good, like these daily wins are such a good way to grow. If you don't know what areas you need to grow in, like find a win in each of these areas and you'll naturally realize yourself improving and bettering yourself. And then those will spark more areas for improvement. So like this is
Mhm.
such a good starting place if you have no idea what you even want to grow in or
No,
improve in.
exactly. Because honestly, implementing even just one of these wins in like one of these categories naturally will help you feel better every day, which will naturally lead to a domino effect of other areas improving in your life as well.
Yeah.
And we've been really harping on feeling good and working on yourself and growing and setting this month up for success. And this is a really pivotal part of that as well. And I feel like it helps break it down to like a really simple way of almost like holding yourself accountable every day,
Yeah.
Like it's really simple. Like they don't have to be giant wins. You don't have to get a raise every week or climb a
Yeah.
mountain every week. It can be super simple wins that just excel you forward every single day.
And going off that criteria, they are really simple. Like when you think of it in the categories, I almost feel like it makes it more digestible for you. It
Mhm.
makes it seem more achievable. And when you show up in these three areas, physically, mentally, spiritually, every single day, like I can guarantee you by the end of the day, you're going to be confident with what you did that day. Like you're going to be fulfilled. You're going to have felt that you were productive and efficient if you check these off. And I feel like when you feel that way, like you go into every other situation, you go to bed that night feeling great, you wake up the next day ready to attack the day. It's just like that's the domino effect where you showed up for yourself, you believe in yourself now you're confident and you want to do it again the next day because of how good it made you feel that day. So it's
Mhm.
like one of those things that it's really very simple. And I think sometimes people look at their day as like, oh, I have to work out, I have to read, I have to do this. And like they have all this big to-do list. But if you break it down into like, I did something physically today, I did something spiritually and mentally, it becomes a lot easier to do that every day. If that makes
Mhm.
sense. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
No, 100%, and I do think, like we were talking about on the last episode, we're not gonna be motivated every single day to work out and eat healthy and, achieve our goals, but it's a discipline that's gonna drive us, and I feel like on the days that you're not feeling super motivated, maybe the weeks you're not feeling super motivated, if you can just do these 3 wins every day, no matter how the rest of your day looked, you can still put your head on the pillow at night feeling good, and it's like,
Yeah.
"Okay, maybe I didn't get the most work done today, maybe I didn't, have the best workout today, but I still had my workout. I still had my physical win, right? Like I still prayed. I had my spiritual and and just going off of that. So I think it's just a good way, no matter how you're feeling for the day or the week, still building you up and helping you feel like, okay, I won, and help, like you said, helping you build the confidence so that the next day or the next week and next month, you can feel better and stronger and more confident in yourself to like get it done.
So that was kind of like a general overview of our thoughts on why you need these daily wins, but we kind of wanted to go into breaking them down and kind of giving you guys examples of what each win could look like for you, just to give you some inspiration and also talk about what we do for those wins and how they make us feel and the, like the certain emotions that come along with it. So let's start with physical, just because I feel like that is the simplest, mental and spiritual, you can go different routes, but physical really just comes down to moving your body, I think, every single day, whether it be walking, running, lifting, swimming, whatever physical activity you want to do, just make sure you move your body and challenge your body to do something. Challenge it to go through a state of maybe like stress or
Mhm.
a state of having to work hard. That's
No,
pretty
that's a
much what I feel like a physical one is. It's just
yeah.
simply it doesn't need to be a hard workout, it just needs to be some form of movement, some form of getting your blood flowing and doing something that betters your health.
Yeah, like exerting energy and yeah, using your physical body. I feel like it's very self-explanatory, a physical win. For us, I feel like because this is already a part of our life and we've mentioned that many times. So it's almost like how can we use this to challenge ourselves just a little bit more? And I think that's why for the both of us it's important like okay, we're going to walk every day, but then we're also going to lift weights every day or yoga sculpt or detox and grit whatever we want to do. So it's kind of like two physical wins in a sense because that's just how we are. Like we already do it, so it almost feels like, okay, I'm not just gonna walk every day because I already do that. That's like the bare
Yeah.
minimum,
That's an
you
easy
know?
one. That's it. And I don't think you like I know exactly what you're saying, and I don't think we mean it in a sense of like, "Oh, we're better." Like, I don't mean it in the sense of we're better than everyone, but it would be easy for us to just walk every day. So I think, like, the next challenge would be having multiple physical wins because we inherently already physically win every day. That's always
Mhm.
been a part of our lifestyle. So, I would
Yeah.
say the same thing, like, walking and especially at school, my regimen is walking every day and lifting every day, which I'm really loving right now, but if I show up in both of those areas and get both of those done, like, that's a physical win for me that day. That's
Mhm.
that's the box that's checked.
Well, and like there's gonna be days when we have rest days and we're not at the gym or we're not at the yoga studio. So, okay, maybe go on 2 walks that day then, right? So like we're still kind of getting 2 and it's just challenging ourselves more. So like if you are a person who doesn't work out a lot now, start with one thing, but if you already kind of work out daily, what can you add on to it? Maybe you already go on walks every single day. Okay, add in lifting like twice a week and then see how you feel.
Mhm.
Or if you just work out every day, okay, let's add in some walking too. Like, let's get those steps up and just pushing yourself a little bit more.
I think it's important to note that in order for it to be a win, in order for it to be something that fulfills you and makes you feel like you did just win, it needs to challenge you.
Mhm,
Otherwise, it's not going to give you the same reaction. Like when I do something hard, I feel the reward after. I feel good after because I know I did something hard. So I
mhm.
think that's really crucial for it to be a win. So that's kind of like a based on you. kind of decision you need to make. Everyone's going to be different, but set your physical win however it needs to be for you. Make sure it's a challenge. Make sure it's a push.
Walking in the winter is definitely a challenge for me.
Mhm. Oh my
Like,
god.
literally walking this morning was brutal.
It was brutal, but it's oh my
But
god,
it
it's snowing.
feels
It's snowing. Sorry. I just looked outside to be like
Oh, yeah,
um
it is snowing here.
walking sorry. Walking in the winter is very brutal and it makes me upset because I do love like one I love walking. I absolutely love it and I hate that I start to resist it in the winter because of the cold because I
Mhm.
also just love the fresh air. Like there's nothing I dislike more than being inside all day. I need that dose of like breathing in the fresh air every day and it's
Mhm.
so hard when it's so cold because it's like I want it so badly, but I don't want it and I'm like at this mental battle in my head. My mom's like, "Isabel, just miss your walk today." And I'm like, "You don't understand. Like I don't want to."
Yeah.
No, but I want to. It's like
Mhm.
that is such a challenge.
Okay, so next up is a mental win, and I feel like mental can really be super unique to anyone as an individual. What I wanna do might not be what you wanna do, and that's totally okay, but just some inspo for mental. So, reading, writing, learning something new, being creative, like painting or drawing, knitting, anything that kind of gets your mental capacity to just grow a little bit more. This is the one I really am excited to focus on every day because like we've talked about in our habits, wanting to implement reading more. And even for me, like wanting to implement meditation back into my life or breath work. Like I kind of lost some of that and I felt the impact of losing that mental win every day.
Mhm.
Like you don't feel as confident. I don't feel as smart when I'm not reading as much.
Yeah.
And that's one of those areas, like, I can pick up a book and read a page every day or read 10 pages every day, like, that doesn't take me that long, and if I can scroll on my phone at night while I'm in bed, I can just pick up my book and read instead. So,
Yeah.
I'm very excited for, like, the mental area, and honestly, using, like, these 3 wins in general is also what I'm focusing on, like, in these next 30 days as, like, my reset and a way to hold myself accountable. So this area specifically, like, the mental win is one I'm looking forward to immensely.
I would agree with that because as we said for physical win, I feel like it's very similar for spiritual win. Those two kind of come inherently, whereas the mental win is something that I do have to work for a little bit
Mhm.
more. It's not I would say it's the one that does not occur most naturally throughout my day. It's the easiest one for me to eliminate because I may not be as motivated to pick up a book and read or write or, do anything that I want. So I'm definitely very excited about that one too. I really want to hone in on that just because I do think learning and reading and all those things are very good, not even just for yourself, but also for your mind. I think it's really important to work your mind every day in that way and have your mind think about different things and process certain information. It's a mental workout, and I think everyone needs a mental workout. I think that helps grow. And honestly, I'm starting to think that not enough people are mentally working out their minds, and that's why we're all kind of becoming dumber. I'm not saying
Mhm.
that we're all dumb, but like that's maybe why our memory is not as good. Maybe that's why we aren't speaking as well in social situations and why people are having more social anxiety. Like we need to mentally win every day. That's a little bit of a different tangent, but um
But it's a great point that really,
yeah, I
like,
don't
I'd
know.
never even thought about it like that, but it's so true, and I like, all successful people really do read, and even, like, in the writing in a sense, it's sometimes it's super nice to just, like, sit down and write, like, whatever comes to your mind, like, don't look at it as like, "Oh, I'm journaling." Just sit down if you just need to let out some energy or let out some things in your mind, like, put it on paper and then see how you feel. Like, you can probably if you do it at night, you'll probably go to bed feeling like releasing that energy. Maybe it's negative, maybe it's positive, but just, like, releasing it and putting it out into the world and out of your mind. Like, I just feel like it's a great way to really level up, and like you said, I do feel like people need a more of a mental workout every day. I think our convenient devices that we hold, our phones and the watches, like, everything makes it so like, everything is so accessible to us. Everything is so, like, quick to, like, be in our hands and, "Okay, I need to know something, let me just look it up," instead of, "Okay, let me read a book on it," or, "Let me
Yeah.
watch, like, a YouTube video on it." It's more like, "Let me just Google it really quick and read the first line that pops up."
Yeah,
And
it's gotten
that's
to a
not learning. That's
that's
not
not
learning.
learning.
Mhm.
Sorry.
That's not how I learn, at least. Like, I need to, like, actually dive deeper into something for me to understand and kind of process what it is that I wanna learn.
Well, that is really the entire point of learning. Like your brain needs to be able to process it and you need to be able to apply it by yourself. And that's
Mhm.
why I hate like, oh, you can look it up and find the answer right away because you never learned how to process that information. You never understood it fully to be able to apply it. You just got the
Mhm.
answer.
Exactly.
And I've noticed that effect on my life. And that's why I'm so excited for the mental one because I'm
Mhm.
like, I want to understand. Like that's I've said this earlier, but like that's a big thing for me in 2024. I want to become I'm smart, of course, but I wanna become smarter in every realm. Like, I want to mentally work my mind more.
Mhm.
Um, and I just wanna say, like, if you aren't a reader, you're not a writer, you're not creative, you can always do something like watching a YouTube video or something. Like, YouTube is a crazy platform, and there is so much knowledge on there. People are a wealth of information. If you just, like, look up a random topic you wanna know about and just watch a 10-minute video on it, watch a 5-minute video. You're 5 minutes more into learning than you were yesterday. I think that's all
Mhm.
that matters. So,
And it doesn't have to be on, like, a topic that doesn't interest you at all. Like, there's so many things I'm interested in. I'm gonna watch videos on that. I'm gonna maybe
yeah.
buy a book on that. I'm not gonna buy something about, like, maybe politics that I'm really not that interested in. Why would I do that? And maybe
Mhm.
eventually I'll get more interested as I learn more and dive deeper into just, like, the world we live in, but start with things that you really truly care about because that's what's gonna make you want to do it. And I feel like this is a really good way to kind of track your day because, like you said, the mental win doesn't come as naturally for us. But if we're every single day looking at, okay, these 3 wins, like literally, I want to set my background to be like the 3 wins. So when I'm at night, it's like, okay, what was my physical? What was my mental? What was my spiritual? Oh, I haven't prayed yet or I haven't read yet. Let me do that really quick. It's like a way to hold yourself accountable.
Oh, I kinda like that too. Like, I
Hmm.
almost think I want it to be, like, my debrief before I go to bed, like, I can't go to bed until I have these 3 wins, and
Hmm.
obviously I'm not gonna be, like, that strict because there may be a day where I don't get the workout in or something,
Hmm.
life happens, but I think that is such a good way to, like, be accountable. Just that's
Hmm.
why I like these wins so much because I'm like, I feel like they perfectly categorize, like, 3 areas of life that you need to show up in to make you feel fulfilled. Like,
Hmm.
that's a good day to me if I have all 3 of these checked. That's phenomenal.
100%, 100%. And I just feel like you almost feel unstoppable if you do these things for yourself. When
Mhm.
you feel like you had a good day, you can look and then you have a good day every day because you're doing all this. So you had an amazing week. It's like, I'm unstoppable. I can do anything I want to do. Like, oh, I
That
want more brand partnerships. I can do that because I'm
mhm.
already doing hard things every single day.
Yeah. I just have so many thoughts going through my head, so I can't even move on to spiritual yet because this is a little bit of a tangent. But I was gonna say, like, it's kind of about all 3 wins. I've recognized just side note here for everyone. I've recognized that the fall term, I talked to you all so much about how I felt like I was growing every day and I was like, "Oh my god, like, I'm just constantly improving." Like, that's what fall term felt like. It felt like constant improvement, and I'm realizing now during this episode I was implementing these wins and I didn't realize it because I feel like you and I have just recently started discussing like physical, mental, spiritual. But I was doing these 3 things every single day because I was in the classroom every day learning. I was walking and lifting every day and I was always praying. So I was doing those 3 things and I was so confident over fall term. Like I said to my best friend Luke, I was like, I just feel unstoppable these days. Like I literally am walking around so unbelievably confident because I've showed up for myself in every way possible. And it's because I've implemented these 3 wins. So I'm like, wow, that's how I felt all of fall term. And I attribute it to all of this now.
Mhm.
I just want to give you guys that example because it works. I'll tell you that right now. It works.
Yeah, no, that's like amazing. And honestly, it makes so much sense now why
Right?
you
Like
felt like,
I'm like, oh my God, that's what was going on. I didn't even realize I was winning in these 3 areas.
mhm. And like if someone were to ask you, like, well, how did you grow? It's like, I don't know how to explain my growth to someone else, but you can explain this to someone
Mhm.
else, which is
Yeah.
why we're explaining it to the audience right now. So, lastly, for the wins is a spiritual win. And this is almost self explanatory, but I feel like a lot of people might be straight away from it, hearing that word spiritual and being like, oh, I'm not a spiritual person. But you can really take it so many different ways. So, praying, meditating, doing breath work, showing gratitude, doing like the gratitude rampage that we've talked about before, finding a way to really ground yourself in a spiritual way that isn't physical. So there's nothing that you can hold on to when you're meditating, right? Like there's nothing, you're not doing anything really when you're praying physically. It's like more, I guess it's kind of mental in a sense as well, but it's really working on like your spiritual health. And I don't know, it's super personal. So it's almost hard to touch on, but kind of just like giving those examples to it and how we, is well, how you implemented them like all fall term, really.
Yeah. It is funny because I do think thinking about it, it is sort of like a mental thing too, but spiritual means, like you said, so many different things for so many people. Like spiritual for me is my relationship with God. That's how I
Mhm.
associate that. But if you're not religious, like to me, spiritual would be like really getting in tune with yourself, reflecting, getting to know yourself. Like that's your spiritual way of living, maybe. I mean, I don't really relate to that, so I'm not certain on it. I just said I just repeated myself like 3 times. But, I think spiritual needs to be a word that you define yourself, and then you can find the win based on how you defined it. So for me, that would be praying. I'm interested in meditating for
Mhm.
sure. That kind of goes along with praying to me though. But yeah, I think spiritual can really be it. I think spiritual can also be anything you want it to. Like for me, as we said physically, like it's I pray every day. That's kind of something that inherently happens. So like I need to set a bigger spiritual goal for me. Whether it be reading the Bible, whether it be reading Jesus Listens every day, or maybe listening to a religious podcast, like something kind of extra than just praying. I've also thought about like doing acts of service. Like that is kind of where do I want to grow in my spiritual life? Okay, having more acts of service, like maybe one per quarter of the year. That would make me feel like I'm growing spiritually and
Mhm.
winning in the spiritual realm. So I think it's personal as to where you are in your journey spiritually.
100%. And I think that's a really good way of looking at it too. Like I'm not right now, I'm kind of thrown off my routine in a sense, and I have been praying every single day, or not praying as much as I wanted to like during the day. Like maybe I'll take a moment and it'll be like a quick like 30-second prayer, but because I already do that, like I want to be able to take it to the next level. One of the things that I started doing actually on vacation, just like when we went fishing a lot and it was an hour boat ride out to where we were going. So we like, you couldn't really talk. You were going fast and it was 7:30 in the morning. So it was like perfect temperature out. You're on the water. So I started listening to the Bible in a year, which my mom and Aunt Pam have recommended, and Xander was listening to it. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to start and see if I like it. And I like immediately fell in love with it on day one. I'm not very far into it. I have a lot to catch up on, but even just doing that like every day, that's a whole new thing for me because it's reading the Bible, it's understanding the Bible, and it's growing my faith in a way that I haven't done before, and it's committing myself to something every single day. So let me take it to the next level outside of just prayer and like you said reading the Bible, but now I'm listening to someone help me understand it.
Yeah.
So that's just if you are a religious person and you're looking for ways to kind of get into the Bible too, I highly recommend A Bible in a Year. Let me just quickly look up the person who does it really quick.
Father Mike Schmidt.
There you go, Father Mike Schmidt.
I literally
Yeah.
know him off the top of my head.
Mhm, and I, like, enjoy his voice, and it's really nice because he'll read right now we're on Genesis, and he'll read the passage and read the chapter, and then he goes into depth kind of about, like, what is all happening, what does it mean? Because even in the beginning, it's, like, the creation stories, and there's a lot of names and who everyone's related to, like, all of that, so it can be, like, confusing if I were to just read that on my own and be like, "Okay, what did I get from that?" But then he breaks it down so much and pulls out the meaning, and it's like, "Whoa, I didn't even think about that," and I don't I don't know, like, I literally started listening to it, and I immediately started thinking about it more throughout the day. Like,
Yeah.
things happened, and I was like, "Whoa, okay, I saw." This is super random, and I'm just gonna say it, but Khloe Kardashian did a photo shoot for, like, a magazine, or I don't even know what it was for, honestly.
Oh, I saw that. Tomorrow. Was it tomorrow? Tomorrow Mag?
Yeah, I think that sounds right, and she had, like, an apple over her boob, literally. It was, like, this, like, cut off thing, whatever, and she had an apple on her boob. This sounds really weird, I don't know where I know you're like, "Where is she
I
going
know
with
where
this?"
this is going. Adam and
But
Eve.
I had just listened to the creation story with Adam and Eve, and I was like, "It's kinda weird that they chose an apple as that prop of almost like that's the evil. Like that's really what created the evil in the world with Adam and Eve and like the apple and the tree and the devil. Like it was
It's
just weird.
symbolism, it's
It was.
symbolism.
So, like, I'm not gonna go ahead and, like, put that on Khloe Kardashian, like, I'm not saying that, but it was weird because I had to listen to it, like, 2 days before, and then I saw that, and if I hadn't listened to it, it probably wouldn't have popped into my mind that that was weird, but because I had just listened to it, it kinda was opening my eyes more to things in our world that maybe are ungodly and are really the devil kind of working into our everyday life. And I was like, thank God I read that. Thank God I was listening to that. And
Yeah.
I started that. Like, thank you, God, for giving me your word that actually makes my mind more open and my eyes open wider to what is in our world.
I love that. That's a
Mhm.
beautiful way to say it because that's what reading God's word really is. I've recognized, like, every time I read his word, I recognize how clear my vision becomes on
Mhm.
life, on the world. Like, it's so easy to overlook all of these certain things, and then when you read the Bible or you hear these stories, it, like, becomes so clear. It's, like, staring you in the face. It's really weird. I'm like,
Mhm.
"Wow, like, that's the devil at work." So that's why it's so important to be I personally think, like, in touch with God, but also knowing his word, and I don't know his word enough. I'm not saying I do, so, like, that's a big thing for me, but knowing his word and knowing how he speaks because when you know his language, you can see, like, the devil at work, I guess. I don't know.
No,
I
and
feel like I've seen the devil in our world so often these days, like, so
mhm.
often. It's, like, the first thing I notice. I'm like, "That's the devil right there."
Yeah. And I do feel like it helps almost like remove the fascination or like the jealousy behind like celebrities too. Like I love Khloe Kardashian. I love the Kardashians, but they're not who I worship. Like I'm not
Mhm.
jealous of the life that they live. I don't know what they did to get where they are and I don't want that. And even seeing that, I was like it's even more clear to me that they are not on the side I want to be on, right? Like
Yeah.
it almost just helped me remove like the the fascination and the obsession. I'm not saying I'm obsessed with them, but I feel like a lot of people get caught up in celebrities and the drama and all of that, and I don't know, just that one I literally listened to a couple chapters of Genesis, and I immediately was like it was like a red flag immediately as soon as I saw it, and I just thought that was kind of crazy.
That is crazy. Oh my god,
Mhm.
I love that. I love
Yeah,
that. It's
I don't know
exciting.
why I just, like, wanted to share that because it was really it was a good example of what I meant by, like, reading it and then, like, seeing it in
Yeah,
life.
yeah. Love that. It's funny just because I didn't even notice the apple,
Mhm.
and I haven't
Same.
started like, I haven't listened to Bible in a year, so, like,
Yeah.
yeah, I would have. So that's an interesting
Yeah.
observation. I kinda wanna say for these 3 wins, we're speaking of them as daily, right? I think you should implement them every single day in your life, as we said, to make you feel better, to make you show up for yourself and really have a winning day, like, be a complete winner every single day. But something I reflected on these 3 wins, and I realized that they're a really good way to approach goal setting or figuring out like where you want to improve. I know I said that earlier, but when I was setting my 2024 goals, I was praying to God and I was talking to God about my goals like, okay, God, where do I want to be in a year from now? And the way I broke it down ended up being in these 3 categories. I was like, okay, where do I want to be physically? Right? And I was like, okay, this past year I worked really hard on bettering my relationship with fitness. Now it's an inherent want to do it. It's not something that I'm forced to do. I really love doing it. So I was like, where do I want to be physically? Right? I found the area that I can improve in. Where do I want to be mentally next year? Where do I want to be spiritually? And I kind of broke it down as like what like you know what I mean? Like, okay,
Mhm.
these are my spiritual goals for this year. These are my mental goals and these are my physical goals. And when I did that, I realized that it literally encapsulated all of my goals. Like
Mhm.
I just feel like they're really solid 3 pillars to have in your life. Like they really do cover all the basics, all the things
Yeah.
you want to grow in. For
Yeah.
me personally at least.
Exactly, like, they don't just have to be wins, you can use them as the categories to set yourself up for the year.
Yeah. So I just wanted to share that too because when I broke it down into those 3 separate things, I realized, like, so many more goals that I don't think I would have thought of that I was like, "Oh, that's super achievable," and, like, that is where I wanna be.
Mhm.
So, maybe thinking of it in that way.
Yeah, no, that was a great point. So, we hope that you guys can honestly just start implementing these, like, right away, even if you're like, "Oh, I already started the day," like, this can happen all 3 of these can happen in the last, like, 2 hours of your day,
Mhm.
literally. So, looking at them as a good thing and not as, like, a scary thing, start off small, you can build on them, and just being able to hold yourself accountable in a way that makes you feel really good and makes you feel like at the end of the day, "I won today." Today, I won because I had 3 wins in all 3 of these areas, and that's a great feeling. That's, like, a really, really good feeling, and you can feel really confident and proud of yourself, and it just helps build up that discipline and build that motivation that you need to achieve your goals and to work towards your highest self and feeling really good about who you are and who you're becoming.
So, you guys know what to do. Like, subscribe, comment, follow, interact with us, please. Add that to your win. It's not a winning day without spreading the word of no sugar. Let's be real.
Literally.
Let's be real. So, let that be a physical win. What would that be?
Yeah, because
Physical, mental, and spiritual, because we're helping you grow in all three.
yes.
So please support us. We support all of you. We want the best for you and we want the best for everyone. So the more you spread us, the more that we can help everyone in this world. And that's the goal. That's always been the goal of
Exactly.
this. So thank you for tuning in to another episode and have a great rest of your week.